join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Dad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
But sure, I mean, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Please, moderators, let me know if you can hear me okay. I've got a lot to go through. We're going to start with some pages in the discovery. If you could just hit the like button, that would help out a lot, and it's much appreciated. And hello, everyone who's joined us. Still waiting to make sure. Okay, thank you, Jay. He says I can hear you. And hello, Angie, and everyone else who's here. Again, I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. Hi, Sherry, Stasia, everyone else. Thank you for becoming a member, Martha Mitchell, and welcome to the team. Pointer Lover is here. Debbie's here. Johnny's here. All right, Dustin, Tater's here. Thanks, guys. So again, you know, the topic tonight, I think, is something that we can all kind of pretty much agree on for those who have followed this case for a while. The affair, I believe, was longer than 6 weeks, like NK and Chris claim. Now, the murders happened on the 13th of August. That's almost 2 weeks into August. So that alone accounts for 2 weeks of it. July, obviously, is 4 weeks. In my opinion, it was much longer. We have evidence, I believe, and circumstantial evidence that point to that. So at the very least, it was, you know, a little bit longer. At the most, I feel like it shows because of her Google searches that occurred in 2017. Remember, the murders happened in 2018. She's searching the family, stalking them pretty much. Thank you, Sherry, for the super sticker, and B Crumbs for gifting 10 memberships. Welcome to all those members. Thank you so much. And yeah, so at the very least, she was stalking this family and targeting them. So I don't know what's worse. You know, they lied about the length of their affair, or she targeted the family for much longer than we all knew. Again, thank you guys so much for those donations. All right, let's get into discovery pages, because I think that is a good place to start, because, you know, those are direct pages from witness statements. In the filings, this comes from the district attorney, the prosecution's, you know, files. And right here, this kind of talks about the timeline of Shanann filming herself in the kitchen when she's got that "Oops, we did it again" shirt on, and she's breaking the news to Chris that she's pregnant with their 3rd child. So right here, we see in the timeline, May 29th. Now, this was found, well, actually, look right here. September 1st, 2017, Kessinger searched the internet for the name Shanann Watts. Now, she didn't even work with Chris until around April 2018. So now we jump down to May 29th. This information came right from phone forensics from Shanann's phone when they did a data poll. And yes, that is really nice of you guys for gifting memberships. I really appreciate it. As we see, you can tell from the day that they, you know, record something on your phone when they do the phone forensics. And we can see right here that that video was recorded on May 29th, 2018. It says at 15:40 hours, Shanann began filming in the kitchen of 2825 Saratoga Trail. She stepped in front of the camera briefly to show off her shirt with the embossed words, "Oops, we did it again." When she stepped out of the camera's view, the family dog, Dieter, ran off to welcome Watts entering the home. As Watts walked into the kitchen, he halted mid-stride and stared in Shanann's direction. His confused expression transformed into a grin, and he walked to her saying, "We did it again." Then Watts returned in view of the camera. He is holding a pregnancy test, and they discuss the positive results. Watts leaned in, kissed Shanann with a large grin, and says, "I guess when you want it to, it happens." Wow. So I remember this was filmed May 29th. Now, moving along to, you got to keep these dates in mind, because when we listen to some clips that I've edited together and we hear it firsthand from Chris, it doesn't really add up to what we know as fact with the phone forensics here. So moving to another page of the discovery. 1 second, guys. Share screen. All right, so this is taken directly from Anthony Brown's statement. He was a coworker of Chris. He was honestly one of the most straightforward, honest people that we heard out of the coworkers, in my opinion. He had nothing to do with that leak situation like Troy McCoy and Cody and other people did. He was just somebody who worked with Chris. Chris trained him. They weren't very close. They were just kind of acquaintances at work. This is the man who said that Troy told him Shanann didn't take any clothes or medicine for the girls, that they were having problems in their relationship. Troy also told Anthony Brown that Shanann had taken her wedding ring off, left it on the counter. Brown said he and McCoy speculated that Shanann had left Watts and she took the two girls. Brown said they even speculated that Shanann had met someone while she was on her business trips for Thrive. Now it goes on to say, Brown is the one who says, now that he had a chance to think about the situation, he thinks Watts may have been dating a girl in the Anadarko office. Brown said he thought Watts was dating a girl named Nikki. Brown said he saw Watts and Nikki standing near the break room talking together. Brown said he thought Watts and Nikki were standing extremely close, and Brown thought that was unusual. Brown thought that happened about 5 months ago. So this interview was taken in August. 5 months prior would be around the time that she starts working with Watts. So it seems like right around the time that she starts working, so, right around April-ish, they're automatically seen by somebody who thinks that their closeness, flirtation is very unusual. And these dates matter. So she starts working and she's very comfortable already off the bat, we're supposed to believe. And, this flirtation that was seen by Anthony, it caught his eye. He thought it was strange. So just think about the timeline once we move into some statements that Watts makes in the prison interview. So right now I want to share some clips I put together, and we have other things. Actually, you know what? This would be a good one to share too before we get into that, because this is vital. So this is just a clip taken from my documentary I put together, as well as these pages and search results are directly from the investigative forensic poll from NK's phone. So I'm just going to play this for a little bit. You can see right there on the screen, this were searched items that came up on NK's phone. And she is searching Chris first in 2017. And then she searches Shanann. So we had seen that she searched Shanann in September. That's not shown on this page, but here it shows another one searched in January. This is all done before NK ever worked with Chris. So, either their affair was going on longer, or she's literally cyber stalking and targeting this family for whatever reason. I'm not sure which one is worse, but in my mind, I just feel like maybe they met each other at a gym. A lot of different things have been speculated on. There was something about, they met at fireworks thing. Nothing has been proven. We've just only speculated, but it does seem like for whatever reason, she had her eyes on Watts. Oh, B Crumbs, did you gift more? Thank you so much. And welcome to those members. And if you guys received a membership, make sure you thank B Crumbs. She's awesome. So let's watch this.
Through a data pull of the mistress's phone, we see in the discovery files it states several searches for Christopher Watts can be found prior to.
And his dad loved those kids, because he did, And I feel sorry for his family. They gotta go through a whole lot.
Right.
I can imagine what they're going through. They lost nieces and their son,
Sorry, guys. I don't know why it jumps like that. I've had these spots paused all day so that it could just run streamlined, but I think you guys get the picture. It was showing the discovery pages of her searching the family in 2017 and January 2018 before she ever worked with them. You can find all that right in my documentary. You can find it in the discovery. You can find it on so many sources about this case. Here we go.
Been deleted. I did locate name searches for Chris Watts that dated back to August 3rd, 2017, and Shanann Watts dating back to January 7th, 2018, as well as September 1st, 2017. These entries were deleted but were recoverable.
So that's also important to note. Not only were those searches found, but she had tried to delete them. So, when people are deleting things, when people are trying to cover their tracks, it's questionable. Yeah, he liked the shirt, not what it said. Right. Okay, and now let's hear it from his words. Right, so odd. What was the angle? She saw them on socials or met in passing, and she just decided she wants Shanann's life. Right. Allison says targeted. Yeah, and I have that also in my documentary where she's doing her Facebook Live, Shanann is, and somebody is kind of trolling her. And, she says, "What's with the mean faces?" And, she just never found out. We never found out what that was about. Was it NK under a troll account? We don't really know. It's definitely possible since, Shanann's Facebook was completely public and anybody could have watched her live streams and been tuning in. All right. So here's some clips, just Chris talking about their affair.
So it was probably around June 1st or something. That's when I first met her. Yeah.
So he's claiming he met her around June 1st, right? Anthony Brown says he saw them very flirty and close talking near the break room in around April. So already off the bat, we know Chris is lying right here.
And it was just like a work conversation. She messed with the gas meters that, we were out in the field. And I was messing up, and then I took it to her like, "Hey, what's going on with this? How do I fix it?" And after that, we just ran into each other a few times in the office, and I think it was probably the fourth time meeting. She had asked me because when we were talking back and forth, I would say, we moved here from Colorado or from North Carolina and stuff like that, and then she's like, "What's all this weed stuff?" I'm like, "I took out my phone and showed her a picture, my girl's on the phone. It's like, oh, okay. She's like, so you're like, yeah, but you know, I didn't wear a ring to work because like I sent off so I get refitted after I lost all that weight. So, but
You lost so much weight that your fingers lost weight?
yeah, it was literally like I was out in the snow one time. I went like that, and my ring went off on the rocks. So I was just like, I was panicking, trying to find out like I can't wear this anymore. But so after that, she left me alone for a couple of days, and she texted me outside in the field. And then after that, we just kept texting back and forth, and it was just, it's like she used to work in a oil rig out in North Dakota, I think. And we just kind of trading stories back and forth about what we did and everything. And then one day it just kind of went to a different level, and then.
So when he says, and then one day it just went to a different level, and then that makes me think that they were intimate. Personally, that's how I take what he's saying. Obviously, I've listened to it a few times. I've tried to kind of figure out, with these text messages on the screen. We'll go through the text outside of the statements. I just kind of added them together. But you can see things on June 29th. Sleeping without your warm body next to me isn't going to be fun tonight. You think you're the only one addicted right now? I'm so hooked on you. How are they talking about being addicted to each other if he just said in the beginning of that sentence they met in June 1st? Makes no sense to me. And remember, he goes out of town with Shanann to San Diego. So it's not like there was a whole month long of, them kind of sneaking around and getting to know each other and getting hot and heavy. Like, there's times where he's home, obviously. There's times where he's on this Thrive trip with Shanann. So it just, the words in these text messages don't really align with the story that he's trying to sell them in that prison interview, personally. And hello, everyone else who has joined. Hi, Tony.
I never thought I would ever go to that level, but she was talking about meeting up after we got back from San Diego. Yeah, we go to San Diego from the 22nd to the 26th of June, and we met up after we got back. And
how did you guys meet up?
At a park in Thornton. Thornton somewhere. And after that, we just kept seeing each other pretty much the whole month of July. So it was like a roller coaster ride that I just kept punching and taking on, and just never picked it up.
You just didn't seem happy, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't remember the video much. I know.
So here they're talking about the oops, we did it again pregnancy announcement. Might be blurry on your guys' screen, but it shows, a post that Shanann had made that day. Remember, phone forensics that we've seen in the discovery indicate that she recorded that video and shared the news with Watts on May 29th. But a lot of times for women who are pregnant, they kind of wait to announce things until a little bit later. So she didn't post this and make it public news until June 11th. So, it has right there, like Chris had to reread it, talking about his reaction. Obviously, he had known about her pregnancy before June 1st. So we'll listen to more of his lies, pretty much.
She was wearing like a oops, we did it again shirt, I think. And I was walking out of my cooler or something. Mm-hmm. I don't remember my actual reaction, watching the video, but I could see her. You probably see it didn't seem like he was jumping for joy type thing.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that.
I don't know, I don't forget what date it was. Maybe June 3rd or 5th or 7th.
See, he, suddenly, he remembered the days that they went to San Diego, and he remembers other things without a problem. But, now when they're talking about the date of the video, he suddenly doesn't remember, and he's saying June 3rd or 4th. I don't know. It's no, it was June 11th that she shared it, but she took that video in May.
I'm not sure what date it was, the video, but maybe I already felt guilty about talking to Nikki at work.
Yeah.
Maybe that was going through my head.
So he's saying, maybe I already felt guilty about talking to Nikki at work. Okay, you just told us a couple minutes ago that you met her June 1st. Now we know from the phone forensics this was recorded May 29th. So already, there's just more lies that Watts is in. You didn't just find out, or you weren't feeling guilty because you just started talking to Nikki in June. You had been talking to her because this was recorded the 29th.
Is that the potential timing? Does that make sense? Okay.
I don't remember the video, what day the video was, but I knew like I kind of met Nikki around like June 1st. I knew like she told me like afterwards.
When you say met her, you mean like went on a date with her?
No, I didn't went on a date with her until she was in North Carolina.
Oh.
Now that's something I do believe. I don't think that they were out in public going on their dates until Shanann was gone in North Carolina. But that doesn't mean that they weren't meeting up, at that park. People make things happen when they're having affairs, no matter where they're at. So, they didn't have to be out on dates for me to believe that that's when the affair started. So I just feel like based off of the statements that Anthony Brown has made, based off of the phone forensics, this affair had started already by the time this video was posted June 11th.
There's like flirting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was natural flirting back and forth, and that was just like, I knew that, like, with that video timing, I probably just looked like I was, like, felt guilty for even talking to my girl at work.
So he says, with the video timing, I just knew I felt guilty even talking to the girl at work. Like, no, you were doing more than just talking to her. A husband's not going to just feel guilty when he gets pregnancy news because he's just talking to a girl at work. There was stuff going on. That's just my opinion. So this is where people kind of are like, well, what about the emails? And, they say strictly in the emails that they're going to keep things as friends. And that was June 5th. Or no, that was June 12th. So they started emailing around the 5th, just about work. By June 12th, the day after she posted about her pregnancy. Hello, Roxanne. Good to see you. And yes, everyone enjoy some tea. Just relax. Hit that like button. Thank you, Gen Z. I appreciate that. And Chitty Chatty Meg is here. Good to see you. So this is where people are like, no. The affair didn't start until June. And you can tell by the emails. And I have my own theory for this. It's just a theory. I can't say it's factual. I can't say that everyone needs to believe my theory on this because obviously that's just not the way theories work. But in my opinion, now remember, my whole thing is I believe that they were planning an explosion. I think that that's one of the reasons why NK got the job there. This all has to do with stuff that I've linked in the description or in my description box, some articles about the house explosion in 2017. So she starts stalking yes, Letitia, exactly. She starts stalking the family a couple months after the house explosion that Anna Darko was tied to. And I believe that these are scripted. They are set up to make it seem like, let's have a paper trail where it shows that we're kind of, keeping our relationship business and we're just co-workers. Because at this point, remember, Anthony Brown, I'm sure others have already seen them at work flirting and stuff. So it's already kind of being talked about probably amongst people at work, like, oh, the new girl in Watts, like what's going on there? I saw them standing really close near the break room. Like, oh, they look like they were flirting. Something's going on. So the fact that I believe that this whole explosion plan was being planned and set up, I think that they had a conversation with each other and they said, okay, so we need to, once the explosion happens, they're going to be looking at everyone kind of involved like that day when the explosion takes place out at Survey 319. Watts obviously is going to be involved in it. The person who's working the safety area that controls all the the monitoring, the and all that is NK. So I think that they said something to each other that let's create a paper trail where it kind of we distance ourselves. So in case they ever went back and did an investigation on anyone who was there that day or linked to this oil leak, remember that oil leak 319 is key. That's where the bodies were found, yes, but that's where I believe this explosion was going to take place. It had the same type of fracture in the line that the house explosion dealt with. It's all linked together, in my opinion. If you need more of that information, you can find it on previous live streams and links in the description box. But I believe that these emails are kind of created to make it seem like they didn't have a close association to each other as they did. So thank you for being honest with me this morning. Truthfulness is so underrated in our culture. And that's from Nikki to Chris, obviously. And this is a day after Shanann made that pregnancy video. So take that timeline for what you will as well. Nikki, yes, a beautiful life is something that is hard to find in this world since people always seem to have an agenda for everything. I do believe in karma, so I agree with that as well. Any conversations we have will stay between us. No need to worry there. My work number is 720 blah, 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 if you need to get a hold of me in the field. Sometimes email can be tricky with my spotty service out there. I have an early morning meeting, and then doing LOTO for a construction crew on various sites all day. So if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you have an amazing day. And that's from Watts. Hello, Alex Erickson. Thanks for being here. Nikki, I'm a straightforward guy. Lying just complicates things. Right. I think you're absolutely stunning. And from what I've learned about you so far, you seem like an amazing person. I hope to continue to get to know you better since we have a lot in common. So these emails, I think, they're around the same time. They might not be in the same order, but my whole point is I don't believe this timeline. Chris, agreed. It is nice to find people you can relate to. I enjoy talking to you as well. I feel understood. I am looking for someone to build a beautiful life with. Seems so simple, but it's so unrealistic sometimes. Build something similar to what you have done with your wife and those cute little girls. I do believe in karma. So out of respect for myself, you and your family, I think it's best if we keep our friendship at work. By the way, I keep my conversations between us. So again, in my mind, I just think, a lot of people kind of.
Hey, everybody. So I wanted to.
Yes, we're going to get to Shanann. A lot of times we go through our live streams and we never get to hear from Shanann or source videos and pictures that she took around the time that this crime took place. So I felt it was important to include their trip to San Diego. It's around 6 minutes of her just kind of FaceTiming and stuff. You can see Watts in the background, but I feel it's important to kind of keep her, of course, in our little research as well. And we can kind of feel out Chris's body language or, in my mind, when these videos are being filmed by Shanann, Chris had already slept with NK in the park, in a truck, who knows, out in the field. I think that NK would make any situation work to get what she wanted from Chris. And I believe that Chris is spineless enough to just give in. I mean, he even said himself in that interview we listened to, he said, one day it went to a different level that I never thought it would. And then, so anyways, I believe that those emails are not an accurate depiction of their relationship. I think that they're totally scripted, and I think that they were created to kind of make it seem like in case work ever did look into people involved in that day of the accidental explosion, it would show like, oh, okay, yeah, these two had nothing to do with each other. We can see in these emails, they told each other they just want to be friends. So it would kind of make it seem like they weren't conspiring to create this explosion, if that makes sense. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. So let's watch them on their San Diego trip. And again, we can see that Watts is in the background in these videos. And I just think that, you know, not only is it sad to see him kind of faking their relationship at this point, but, you know, Shanann just has no idea at this point. She's a couple months pregnant. And she just has no idea that her husband has already cheated on her. That's what I believe. He and Kay will say that nothing happened between them until after Shanann left for North Carolina. And I just don't believe that personally. I'm curious what you guys see and feel in chat. So while I play this, you know, give me your thoughts. Do you think that NK and Chris were already sleeping with each other by the time they're at the San Diego trip? Do you believe that those emails were real? Do you think she was really saying, like, I think we should just be friends? Or do you think that it was just created to make it seem like, in case they were ever looked into, that it would look like they had nothing to do with each other? Because remember, the coworker had already seen them kind of flirty with each other. So they might have realized, like, I think we need to create some distance.
Show you guys our room. We have a really pretty room. San Diego's gorgeous so far. Really, really pretty. They say it's called the June Gloom. So I'll show you guys the room and everything. So we'll check in early. So here's the room. My favorite part though is outside. Like, take my shoes off. Look outside. Even though you see the June gloom in San Diego, this is our view from our room. Isn't that beautiful? It's gonna be really pretty seeing the sunset and the sunrises here. And that looks like at a restaurant that I want to go eat at because I'm starving. Hey, Steve. Or should I say the baby's starving because I don't eat this early and this much. There's Cheesecake Factory, season 62, I think, or something. There's a lot of restaurants right there. I'm so hungry now. I was gonna freshen up. Food is more important. So we're here in San Diego. I have no idea what we're gonna do today. We might hit the pool up when it gets warmer. Hey Dana, I'm so excited to meet you. So, oh my gosh, palm trees. I haven't seen palm trees. Take that back. We haven't seen them since we were in Mexico in October. I feel like we don't see things anymore, but we do all the time. So hopefully it clears up today like everyone says it does. And we can go. Oh, you guys, he's helping me get the bag situated real quick.
What up? What's going on?
So, all right guys, I'm going to finish unpacking real quickly so I can go down and eat some food because I'm hungry. And we'll see everybody here shortly because everyone's kind of arriving. So I'm excited. Bye guys. Hey everybody. We're live. So we're on a 2-hour cruise here in San Diego. It's absolutely gorgeous here. So here's the crew. There's Scott. We're live. Chris somewhere. Say hi everybody. Hi. She's looking awesome. So we're sitting out here enjoying the amazing weather. It's absolutely beautiful, like so beautiful here. Really excited and having fun. Having so much fun. Who do we have? A lot of dirty bananas off that boat. So if you're on here, definitely share this, but also hashtag live or hashtag replay. Hey Matt. Can't see. How's Brittany doing? So Brittany is a new promoter and Matt is her husband. Awesome. She's due any day. Congratulations. So we're here. Say hi.
Hi guys. I love you. I'm sorry I missed your baby shower.
she missed her baby shower, so we're having fun. So we're just enjoying San Diego. It's absolutely gorgeous here. It's been pretty nice.
These lifestyle getaways are so much fun to be able to be here with everybody and enjoy yourself. It's not work, it's like 90% play.
Yes, having a lot of fun.
But we're
and
still
eating a
working.
lot of food.
Yes. Eating a lot of food.
Thank God for burn.
Sightseeing. It's a good thing we're all on burn.
Except for me.
Oh. Poor Shanann can't be on burn. I feel for you.
Soon. Hey, everybody.
Who else?
So, that's Teresa. We have Carmen. So, all right, everybody.
Oh, hold on. No, go ahead.
You're good. We're just waiting. Everybody.
Oh, I got you. You're
Directly
waiting.
ahead of us, the San
You're
Diego
waiting.
Colorado
Show
Bay
them
Bridge
the views.
opened in
The views are
Are you guys ready? Hold on.
Cost $47 million in 1960s money. $47 million today wouldn't buy an on-ramp to this bridge. The bridge has 5 lanes of traffic overhead, 2 in the heavy direction, 2 in the lighter direction. The center median is movable to accommodate the flow of
Love
traffic.
the skyline.
During the weekdays, Monday through Friday, much of the traffic crossing the bridge actually commuters go to their jobs at the Naval Air Station. So in the morning, 3 of the 5 set up to go toward Coronado. About midday, they moved the median over.
There's another big
Planes are coming back toward San Diego in the afternoon. The bridge was a toll bridge for about 30 years. It has been paid off per spring. The bridge is built for vehicular traffic only. No bicycles, no pedestrians.
There's the kiddos. They're definitely getting the reboot. Mommy, daddy reboot.
All right, so let's find out where's what is also there. What's everybody else doing today? Tell us what you're doing. Oh, we're recording.
Well, because it's low signal.
Oh, okay. Oh, why did you do that? So they can't respond.
Looking through those columns where they all line up, you'll see a series of.
So we're having fun. We'll come back live again later. We still have another almost 48 hours here. I'm excited. So we'll be back later and share a little bit more of San Diego. It's absolutely beautiful, though. I'm glad they chose this one because it's one of our bucket lists for sure.
I had never been here before, other than as a little kid.
Really?
And yeah, the vibe here, the people are really laid back. Everybody is just on a positive mind frame. Didn't you feel that way?
Yes.
Like everybody's just happy, having a good time.
And we fit in well because we're always happy.
We do.
So
I wonder how many drivers we can get while we're down here.
So the ships can move under here 24 hours.
Everyone's been asking, what is those stickers?
I know.
So, all right, everybody, we're going to come back later when we have better signal. You guys have a great day. We're going to enjoy the beautiful weather.
The sea in the sky. And if it looks freshly painted, they just put a new.
Now, it's hard to really tell, but I can see where you're seeing this as well, Letitia. I was kind of thinking that too. Like even in pictures, when you look at pictures from this trip, he looks checked out, or like forced smiling in some of them with her. There's other videos as well that she did while they were on this trip. And, Chris, he's just socially awkward, as is. So, is his distance language or the way that he looks on just not really like with the whole crew or with his wife, he's not like leaning over her, like waving to the camera. He never really did that much anyways. But, like Tony said, it does seem like he's very standoffish. It's hard because there's a beautiful view. There's, stuff that he wants to look at. So it's hard to kind of look at these videos and say like, yes, look how like he doesn't want to be around her. But at the same time, everything is kind of noteworthy. Like he didn't really make himself known in either of these videos besides a quick hello in that first one. There's other videos of this trip where he kind of is the same way. Like I said, there's pictures of them together where he's kind of staring off into the distance with his arms around her. It's hard to kind of tell because they're just videos and pictures of him. And like I said, he's kind of socially awkward anyways, kind of like a doofus. But one thing I do know by these videos from this trip, and every trip that she took with Thrive, she lived her life to the fullest. So that's for sure. It was short-lived, unfortunately, because of Chris. And I think that honestly, I still stand by the notion that it never would have happened if NK never came into his life. So let's see. I've picked some timestamps on these videos from the documentary. I can't remember why for each of them, but let's see.
The Watts ring in 2018 with smiling faces.
Oh, come on.
To August 3rd, 2017, and Shanann Watts dating back.
Bye, guys. Does everyone have a Merry Christmas?
The Watts ring in 2018 with smiling faces. But within a week, unbeknownst to anyone, someone was lurking in the shadows and behind a computer screen. On the same day Shanann threw a Thrive party at her house, the mistress was searching her on the internet. This is also the same week as Shanann's 34th birthday, which sadly would be her last.
So those pictures from the Thrive party had Troy McCoy and his wife, Juanita. Juanita was also in the MLM Thrive with them underneath Shanann. And, you know, all those were taking place the same day that NK was searching Shanann on the internet, all before she worked with Chris. Oh, it's good to see you, Brody. I haven't seen you in a minute. And hi, Seth. Good to see you. And everyone else who's joined, thanks for being here. So again, that was just another example of her searching Shanann and you know, knowing about what's going on even at her house with that party. It's just, to me, circumstantial evidence that either the affair was going on longer than 6 weeks, or she was purposely targeting and stalking this family. So take it for what you will. Both of those options aren't good, in my opinion. This is from CDT's channel. She has this video with the text messages. I figured we could just look at it this way on mute. So remember, he says June 1st is when he met her. Promise, I'm about loyalty, truthfulness, and being dedicated. I don't like playing games unless it's role playing. Wink emoji. If you want me there, I will be there. Ice cream, cookies, and lollipops sounds like a cheat meal night, LOL. June 29th. I'm still going to see you. It won't be as often as we like, but I will make it happen. So here, you know, June 29th, he's saying, I'm still going to see you. So they had been seeing each other. That obviously could still align with their whole, like, we met June 1st. However, like we showed earlier in the stream, he says to Tammy that the way he reacted in that pregnancy video was because he was already feeling guilty for talking to NK at work. And then we find out through the phone forensics that video was filmed in May. So how can you be feeling guilty talking to somebody at work and then say that you met her June 1st? You know, it's just obviously their statements about the affair is just not lining up. I will make it happen. You think you're the only one addicted right now? I'm so hooked on you. So obviously already addicted to each other, even though they, quote, just met 28 days ago. Sleeping without, and mind you, they had already gone on their San Diego trip. So there were times that they weren't even near each other. So, you know, you got to account for all this and kind of make it make sense in your own mind, I guess. Sleeping without your warm body next to me isn't going to be fun tonight. And it's like, don't you always sleep without each other's warm body next to each other? That's another thing that just doesn't really make sense. I have an idea. This is NK. I have a free hotel stay at the Holiday Inn. Not sure if you can swing it this month, but we can road trip to the mountains or southern Colorado for a day or two if you want. So already booking trips together, but they just met. Won't cost a dime, LOL. And mind you, not only did he, you know, say that he was feeling guilty in that pregnancy video for already talking to NK, and that was May, but we also showed Anthony Brown's statement saying that, you know, as soon as she started working at Anadarko in April-ish, they were standing close to each other and flirting. So I don't feel like NK is somebody who's like, oh, let me play hard to get, and I'll tell him that I don't really want to be anything but friends with him, and I'll see how he reacts. Like, she pursued him. Chris basically owns up to that. She pretty much admits that in her interviews as well. And I don't think that there was any playing hard to get. I don't think NK is the type to play hard to get. I think she's a very desperate, needy girl, personally. That's just my opinion. So this is her as well. Again, these messages are scrambled because they couldn't pull all her messages for whatever reason. Even though they could have, if they kept investigating her, they certainly could have had the needs to pull everything that she even deleted. But yeah, she's super busy, Seth. Like, I tell her all the time that she's always invited. But she's got like 2 kids, and our schedules, like, nighttime is just not the best for her. And it's the only time I can go live because I have my little one all day. But she's always invited, and sometimes we get lucky and she comes on. But all right, so this from NK is about her friend Brittany, who was brought up in the prison interview. So she says she supports me, and she's referring to Brittany, but her parents were in a situation like that when she was a kid, and it came up. It won't bother me. I'm not going to stop seeing you. I made up my mind. Are we bad people? And this is July 1st. I'd love to be a part of it. Being in your life is something I crave. So Shanann's already in North Carolina at this point for a couple days. Conserve it while you can. I enjoyed our conversation tonight. I hope you have a great night. Sweet dreams. Nikki, kiss emoji. This is July 4th. I'm getting drenched right now, LOL. Like to see you all wet in the rain. My signals suck so bad here. It might take a while to download your messages. I had a protein shake before I left. I thought you would be more here. I thought there would be more here. I'm resisting the funnel cakes and tater twists. I'm in stopped traffic too. 112th. Lots of people here. Just pulled up to your place. Now we know that he is admitted. You're so considerate. We know that he's admitted to kind of spending a lot of July at her apartment. I hope it's 2:30. You need some rest. There it is. You deserve a pay increase. So obviously NK is complaining about, her pay at Anadarko. For everything you're doing, your plate is only getting fuller because people know what you can do. They need to compensate you now rather than later. It's always about money too with NK. If you guys ever realize that subliminally and blatantly, it's always about money. Even when she's talking about pawning Shanann's ring when Shanann was only missing, So why is that? To me, that it kind of plays to, she expected a payout from an explosion. I know some people are like, what are you talking about? But, her searching Amber Fry's net worth, Amber Fry's book deal, all that stuff that took place after the crime kind of became public and the explosion didn't happen, to me kind of shows that she still was hoping for money. Rocky's game didn't end until 10:20. Good thing you left early. You would have been there a while. So this is into August. Hope you had a great night. This is the night that they went to 2 Lazy Dogs, and she searched those explicit searches regarding threesomes and, sexual activities. Hope you had a great night, beautiful. Miss you. Get home safe. Sweet dreams, my sexy empanada. So then this is the 12th, talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls at that IMAX theater. Dude, the Dead Sea Scrolls are some of the oldest, most important writings in the world. Nice. It sounds like a good time. Haven't seen an IMAX in a while. Sounds like you're having a fun day with the folks. So this kind of is, you could say that this shows that she did go to the IMAX with her family. On that Sunday, we just don't really know her whereabouts the rest of the day. I'm still at the B-Day party with the kids. Kids are soaked from water balloons. Been pounding fruit and had a whole jar of asparagus. He didn't smoke any barbecue this time. He did hot dogs. So I did the fruit and veggies. Now you can watch that video for yourself, go through those text messages if you want, and that'll be linked in the description box as well. But again, we go back to the text messages that specifically say things like, you think you're the only one addicted, I'm hooked on you, on June 29th, and sleeping without your warm body next to me tonight is not going to be fun. Also on June 29th, they had gone to that San Diego trip for a few days near like June 20 something, before the 29th. But, he was gone some of the weekend in June on that trip with Shanann. So for me, with Anthony Brown's statements, with him pretty much admitting like, oh yeah, I was feeling guilty in that pregnancy video because I was already talking to NK, and then the phone forensics showed that video was recorded in May. I mean, that just shows to me that the affair didn't start June 1st, personally. So let's see what else I got to share. Gosh. It's a lot, guys. All right. Just got a lot of stuff lined up.
Nikki was texting me. All right, time out over there.
Oh.
So they can kind of see like I was texting somebody, but it was like maybe they kind of knew, like even like when I was in San Diego talking to my friend Mark, I told him about Nikki, but I didn't tell him like I was going to meet up with her.
I think there may have been an emotional relationship prior to her leaving to come to North Carolina, and it may have progressed into something else when she was gone.
So that right there, Cindy herself thinks that there was an emotional relationship that progressed once she was in North Carolina. I believe that she's given her son the benefit of the doubt and saying it was only emotional. Of course, how would she know like her son's sexual activity really? That'd be a little disturbing if she did. But she's about to say, like, you could tell, like, even when we visited, and it's like, what do you mean? Because she didn't visit in June, where Chris and NK are stating that that's when the affair took place. So how is Cindy getting the impression that there was an emotional relationship or an emotional affair taking place already, and you could just tell? Obviously, whenever she had seen them and she's getting that impression, that is something that's noteworthy. Now, I don't know, maybe you guys can let me know when the last time the Watts were in Colorado, but when she says that, when we visited, you could tell, it's to me noteworthy, because it's like, wait, I thought this was only 6 weeks.
And that he had some fun.
Knew, like even like when I was in San Diego talking to my friend Mark, I told him about Nikki, but I didn't tell him like I was going to meet up with her.
I think there may have been an emotional relationship prior to her leaving to come to North Carolina, and it may have progressed into something else when she was gone. I don't know anything about it. Chris didn't talk to us a lot about any of his personal life. He didn't, but you could see it. You could see it when you went down, when you went to visit.
We all were planning on like going to the beach at the end of the.
So she says you could tell when you visited that there was possibly an emotional affair that was taking place. So I don't know, take that for what you will, but to me, it could be more circumstantial evidence showing like this, something was going on much longer than the 6 weeks that NK and Chris are claiming. Tom N, it's so good to see you. Sounds like some high school kids, right? I know. And thank you so much for that super chat. Yeah, visit when? That's what I want to know. And again, that was something that I could have looked up and figured out for this live stream. But I figure, you know, there's somebody who's pretty much into this case. So many of you guys. I mean, I did that poll on my community page, like what live stream should we talk about today? And like over 50% said Watts. So you guys are obsessed too. So if anyone knows when the Watts visited Colorado, let me know, because that's interesting that she said you could just tell when we visited. So, all right, let's see what else I have lined up. Now, this is just NK's statements about the affair. I know it's hard to listen to, but I'm sure we can find some contradictions. Not only that, but these are some of the cards that Chris got her. I'm going to keep it on mute and just go through the cards. This is the birthday card. So your energy is so insane. You heat me up, you make me melt, and then you cool me down like rain. Nikki, a year of stuff you love to do and brand new dreams to make come true. One that brings you smiles and laughter and fills your heart with love long after. A million moments day by day that simply take your breath away. Have a birthday as wonderful as you are. This sums up you. Big things will happen this year. Dreams will come true. That smile, that stare, that laugh, that giggle gets me every time. You are truly an amazing, inspirational, and electric woman that takes my breath away every time I see you. You are wonderful. Don't ever stop being you. Happy birthday, Chris. So that's July. Let's see what else we got. This is another card. A heart with an N. This is July 30th. Nikki, wow, where do I even start? The first day I saw you, you took my breath away. The first day I had the guts to talk to you, I got lost in those stunning green eyes. So that right there, like, it doesn't say at work, right? So when we talk about did they meet at the gym, I feel like this could play into that theory as well, you know, because she's searching Chris first in July 2017. Long before this card was given, long before she worked with him at work in April 2018. So you can take that for what you will. But here is interesting. The first day we hung out in the park together, I knew I was addicted the first time we kissed. So that is like, okay, so is he talking about when they went to the park in June? Like he told Tammy and Coder in the prison interview, because he says that's the first time that they spent time together outside of work, but he's claiming that was June. We also know that he's claiming he met her June 1st. You know, there's so many lies that he's said already that I don't know if I can believe that the first time we hung out in the park together, I knew I was addicted. That could have been, you know, in 2017 for all we know. We kissed. I knew I had met the most amazing, unique, electric woman ever. We have a lot of firsts together, Nikki, and I want to keep having them with you all night till the sun comes back. I want to love you like that. Love, Chris. So again, this is kind of vague, like when we're trying to find out their timeline. I really feel like it could go either way. Like the park meetup maybe was in June, like he said, but without him kind of really specifying in this card, it's hard to know. I feel like that giggle, is he kidding me? Right. I feel like, yep, 2017 makes more sense. Debbie, not the brown bikini. Right. Anything but the brown bikini. I know. It's just, you could really, I guess, say that that park meetup might have been something other than June. Chris is such a liar that he's got to stick to this whole 6-week thing, even though we've already caught him in contradictions. Eyewitnesses that saw them flirting at work. Yeah, Unravel says, makes more sense since she Googled him. Right. And not only did she Google them, but she Googles him first, a whole month before she starts, Googling the wife. So that would make you think like, okay, so she met him first. She's seen him somewhere. Chris had already started his weight loss journey at that point. He'd already lost a lot of weight at that point when she's Googling him in August 2017. So it's one of those things where people are just, they're not really buying this whole 6-week aspect. And like I said, either it was more than 6 weeks, or she is purposely stalking and targeting this family for whatever reason. Both options are not good. That brown bikini is in my nightmares forever, right? Maybe socials. It's hard to know. I wonder where, right? And he posted a lot of Shanann's Thrive stuff. So Shanann would use his account to kind of advertise things too. Unfortunately, he deactivated his Facebook before any of this case broke. So there was no way that we could kind of go down those rabbit holes and see what Chris was up to and all that. Yeah, poop brown bikini and milk white legs. Oh gosh. So it's just one of those things. It's hard. So this whole theory was something I had for a while, but sometimes my theories change. I don't know if I'm still on board with it, but you guys let me know. A kiss, a touch, a smile, a squeeze, a look, a laugh, a tickle, a tease. To me, I kind of thought in the beginning when I started researching this case that this looked like a Valentine's Day card. Remember, she Googles Shanann in January before she's working with Chris in April. So is it possible that Chris gets her a Valentine's Day card and this was a Valentine's Day card? Nikki, a nod, a grin, a cuddle, a hug, a sigh, a hum, a nuzzle, a tug, a world, a wish, a whisper, a toast. Love and little things matters the most. Thanks for them, for every one of them. When I'm around you, I can feel peace in the atmosphere. I can't resist the feel you put me in on another level. You keep my engine roaring when you're pushing on the pedal. You bring me right back down to earth. Love, Chris. So this is dated July 30th. Now, he had dated that other one July 30th. So why is he giving her multiple cards on the same day? This was a theory where I kind of came out to think that maybe that the date was traced or forged. Because remember, these were handed over to CBI by NK. So she willingly gave these to the state. Now, if it was a Valentine's Day card, I theorized that maybe she just put the date on there to make it seem like it was July. Of course, it's a theory, not fact. So you can believe it, or you can just say that he gave her multiple cards on that day, right? Hard to know. So, let's see.
They never showed up, and there was another one that never showed up either.
Now, if we want to listen to some of NK talking about the affair, that's where this part will continue.
Were you in love with him?
I think it could have gotten there had things played out like in a decent manner, but they're not, because this is a horrible situation and I don't know where she's at, and it's really concerning me that this woman and her children cannot be located. It's not okay. It scares me. Like, I'm worried for all of them.
Yeah, and we are too, and obviously want to get to the bottom of this. And that's some of the questions that I'm asking you and going to ask are just trying to get to the bottom of this.
Understandable.
Yeah. And so when he told you that he was in love with you, was that recent? Was that right away? Was that like in July?
It was probably like a couple weeks ago.
Okay. And did he talk about anything on top of saying, I'm in love with you now, and that I want to have a life together, and that I don't want to be in my life? Like that.
I mean, yeah, we talk about the future. I think all couples do talk about the future, but it was never like, hey, I'm leaving her. We're gonna get a house together. You're moving in with me. It was never like this, very forward thing. And and I even told him, I was like, if we're gonna build a relationship, one thing is that if you're getting a divorce, you've been married for a long time, I think it would be wise for you to spend a lot of time on your own. I was like, and I recently got out of a relationship earlier this year, and I think it's also healthy for me to spend time on my own. And I told him, I was like, I respect monogamy. That's a good sort of situation, but at the end of the day, it's like you need space. And I would tell him that. It's like, once you guys, all your paperwork's finalized and you guys have decided to separate and you're in your own spot with your kids, I was like, I think the days that you're with your kids, you need to be with them full time. I'm not ready to meet your children. He didn't even ask me to meet his children. I mean, not yet, but I told him, I was like, in the future, eventually, if we get to that point where we think we're ready, yes, but I'm not ready to meet your kids. They're not ready to meet me. You're not ready to have me meet them. And I would just tell him, I think we should take our time. Ideally, I would only hang out with you 2 or 3 days, on the days that you don't have your kids. And I was like, in the rest of those days, I was like, spend time with yourself, man. I was like, you've been in a relationship for a really long time. Just spend time, doing whatever it is that you do that makes you happy, and really try to, take a responsible approach where he's living with somebody that he's separated from. It's not my life. That's their life, And that's why I tell him, the time you spend with me, spend it in my house because this is our space and that's not my space. And for me, I think it's really disrespectful to go over there. And so we stopped by there once, on the way to my house. And I was there for maybe 15 minutes. And I saw a picture of her holding her kids. And I was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And I remember thinking, God, your little girls are beautiful too. And we laughed. And I remember telling him after that, it was like, have you ever thought about really trying to fix your marriage with her? And he's like, I don't really want to. And I was just like, man, you got a beautiful wife. So she's the mother of 2 of your kids. And I'm just like, you already have all of this stuff. You already have the house and the car and the kids and the marriage and the wife. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to fix that? I'm like, because what if you try to start over with somebody else? And what if hypothetically we didn't work out or you know what I'm saying? Or just any of that where it's you should at least give her the benefit of the doubt. And he told me, I've tried to talk to her about all this stuff a few times and it's just not working out. And I'm like, all right, I mean, if you're trying to separate from her and it's pretty finalized, then I will respect that. But I mean, just being in that house made me feel like he should just try to fix it. I actually kind of stepped away from him for a little while and just kind of maybe, I don't know. I felt like I wasn't sure if I wanted to carry on because I really wanted him to try to fix stuff. And then, he just emphasized to me there's no fixing it. So, all right. So we just picked up where we left off. But yes, so once time ago.
And that was in the middle of July.
Yeah, I think it was the second weekend of July. I'm almost positive.
Was the relationship intimate by that time?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just I tried. I really tried to handle that whole relationship in the most decent manner that I could, I guess you could say. So after finding out oh yeah, and I've also got this child on the way with her and just wasn't very honest with me, I told him, please give me time to heal and please give me time to process this. And he's like,
I know, that's what's so funny. She's like, and I tried to like step away for a while. And then, we ended up just picking up right where we left off. And it's like, what do you mean for a while? You guys are saying this is 6 weeks. When did you step off? Because we have your phone records. We have data that shows you and him conversing on a daily basis. So where exactly did you try to give him space or, step away for a while? Certain things like that she says also kind of leads me to think this was obviously way longer than 6 weeks. She talks about Chris had the freedom to kind of talk to me whenever he needed to or wanted to, even when the kids were there, when they got back from North Carolina and stuff. And it's like the way she talks about like his schedule, he's like, usually the order of operations was, he's in the basement, blah, blah, blah. And it's like the way that she talks about their relationship in so many of these interviews, it's like, this sounds a lot longer than 6 weeks. So it's just, the math ain't mathin', as we like to say. He was on roids and trying to live a double life. I think that's definitely possible that he was on roids. I also think they were using hard drugs together personally. But again, we don't really have drug tests or anything like that. But we have kind of looked at circumstantial evidence that's pointed in that direction too. But,
Are we done? Are we done? And I told him, I said, no, we're not. Yes, we are. But he doesn't need to know that. I just told him that because I was just like trying to find a way to like distance myself from him without alerting him.
Right, Tony. Remember, she knows his credit score. She knows that he has a 401k. She tried to find apartments for him. She tried to get him another bank account. She knows about his problems with Shanann and his parents. So the whole Nutgate stuff she knew all about. Now that did happen in July, but it's just the stuff that she knows. It's like so much is more sounding more than you just met him June 1st. And not only that, I mean, Chris saying that he met her June 1st and then, it went to a level he never thought it would go to, blah, blah, blah. And they're addicted to each other by the end of June. It's like that in itself is longer than 6 weeks. This crime took place August 13th. You guys spent all of July together, and obviously most of June besides your trip to San Diego. It's just there's so many lies told by these two. It's unbelievable.
That I'm really uncomfortable with everything that's going on right now. I told him numerous times yesterday that I was scared. And, I told him that I was scared not because of for my own safety, but I told him I'm scared because I don't know where she's at. I'm scared because I'm scared for them. And then I told him, the fact that you weren't honest with me, I don't feel like I know you as well as I did. And that, that's uncomfortable for me too. This whole situation is just, it's scary. It's not good. So, I just asked him if he could give me some space. And then I told him, I was like, when you find your family and they're all right, I was like, then you can go ahead and text me. I was like, but until then, I don't really think it's a good idea for me to talk to you. And that's as far as I've gotten. But I can tell you right now, if I were to text him and just say whatever I needed to say, really. So I don't know. And I even asked him a few times yesterday, it was like, what happened? Where's your family? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. But,
You're pretty serious. Did he ever tell you that he loved you?
Yes, he did.
Did you ever tell him the same?
A couple times.
Okay. Notwithstanding that today, because those thoughts may have changed for you, but on, let's go Sunday into Monday or Monday, did you still love him on those days?
I think it was something where it was I said it a few times and I meant it. But he definitely felt the urge to say it to me a lot more than I did to him because it was just all very new to me. And it was like, take your time with this. You don't need to rush that,
I don't believe a word she's saying. Take your time with this. I don't think so. For someone who pursues him, all of a sudden she's telling him to pump the brakes. I don't think so.
I remember when he was in North Carolina and he was like trying to patch things up with his wife and he told me he loved me and I was like, don't say that to me. Like, please go try to fit. And I mean, and that might even be in the text too, where it's like, don't say those words to me and then go try to make peace with your wife and lay in bed with another woman. Like, just don't do that. And I was like, it's not that I don't appreciate what you're saying to me. It's like, it just didn't sit right for me, so I just feel like
almost like an insecurity where he had to say that to you. Or?
I don't know. I think he like looking back at all this now, I don't think he was trying to fix things with her. So saying I love you to me seemed like probably something that he genuinely meant. Like, I love this woman, and regardless of where he was going to end up that night. But to me, in the way that I was perceiving things, he had told me that he was trying to fix things with her. So it's just like, this is an inappropriate time. And I wasn't mad at him. And I'm pretty sure that's in the text too, where it was very like calm, but it's just like, it's almost disrespectful, where it's like, please don't. I'm like, if we get to that point where it is you and me, like, yes, you can say that, but not then. Like, that's.
So you thought he was very genuine.
That's interesting, Tom. He says, I work with a guy who uses roids. He is snappy AF, and I don't think he was himself after use, then trying to juggle a double life and unkept promises to NK. And I also remember Sandy speaking about how she was following them in North Carolina to dinner, and Chris was speeding like crazy. And she had to text Shanann and say, like, why is he speeding? Like, tell him to slow down. I'm not trying to die on our way to dinner. I think things were definitely spiraling out of control for Chris. And I think this whole double life aspect and, NK sending him nudes while he's there with his family and he hadn't seen his family for weeks. All of a sudden he's this dad and husband again. Not making excuses for Chris, but I definitely think that there was some internal conflicts going on at that point, in my opinion. But that's interesting too. And thank you for the super chat.
When he said that.
I did. I mean, and he wrote it. It's in all those cards I gave you. Not in all of them, but like the later.
And
thank you.
When you said it to him, you said you meant it when you said it.
Yes, I just didn't say as frequently as he said it. Like, sometimes he would say it, and I was just like, for me, it was still like very, very new. So I kind of like took my time and only said it when I was just like, this is a really important moment.
So in the short period.
So she only said, I love you when, she felt like it was like an important moment. How many important moments are you having in 6 weeks with somebody? Like most people aren't even saying I love you when they know somebody for just 6 weeks too. That's the other thing. And now she's saying like, oh, well, I kept it for like only times when things were, important moments. All while she's also said, I tried to, distance myself and, step back for a minute and give him space. And then I'm also telling him to work things out with his wife. And it's like, what is it? Because this is only 6 weeks, allegedly. So how is all this stuff taking place? Yeah. And yet they didn't call her on it. Yeah, I think so too. Don't know if it's roids. Don't know if it's other things. Remember, NK is also calling a rehab center and stuff like that around this time. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here, Mundy. Yeah, giving him a key. And remember, her dog loves him.
Period of time that you guys were together, he became very attached to you.
Yes, very, very
he's
attached.
Sending cards,
flowers.
He's telling you.
Sending her cards. He's very attached to her. I think, honestly, it was the other way around. Like Jesse said earlier, she's Googling or she's looking at the package of condoms that he brought over and finding out, when the expiration dates were on them so she could find out when he purchased them. not to defend him, but he had major mind juggling. I totally agree, Tom, and CDT and I have gone through so many examples of why we think that his head was being pulled in all sorts of directions. And then you also have to include the fact that Shanann is arguing with his own parents around this time too. So he's kind of put in the middle of his own parents and his wife. So there were so many different things kind of taking place, kind of like how they say, like a perfect storm, right around this time. And of course, this new pregnancy. Yeah, Anthony Brown told more truth months, not weeks ago. Right. He said months, 5 months before the murders, they were flirty at work. And that was all before Chris said they met on June 1st. Like, no, you're a liar. Yeah, plus your in-laws, then you get nudes from your mistress. He started hating all his families like he did hate himself. Right. He was very confused. You remember even Shanann said to a friend, Chris told me he's going to hell for what he said about the baby. So Chris was saying things like he liked it just with Bella and Celeste and was scared to death of having a third child. And then he's also allegedly telling Shanann that, he's feeling guilty about saying that and that he said, I'm going to hell for what I said about the baby. And then he ends up killing them all. So there was just so many things that were kind of up and down, like what's going on? They go out to dinner while Shanann's in Arizona for her trip. He goes out to dinner with NK. NK says in her interviews that he didn't seem like he was gung-ho about doing this move into the apartment search when they were trying to search for apartments. To me and CDT, we've always speculated that perhaps Chris wanted to back out of the plan. Again, this is just speculation, but I think that it's definitely something to think about.
He loves you. He sends you flowers. Does he buy you any other gifts?
I wouldn't have wanted them anyways. Flowers is enough. I don't need expensive stuff.
Okay. But he becomes very attached.
Yes.
You guys are talking multiple times a day, at least. You're
all the time.
You're seeing each other on a regular basis.
Yep.
So it's a very, and his wife is not around, nor are his children. So there's a lot of time for you guys to build your relationship in this first four weeks or so. Is that fair?
Yeah, and even when she was back, it was still like we were still spending time together. He was still spending time with his children, and I had my own life. There was 1 week where I just went out of town with my friends for my birthday.
So in this short week, 6 weeks, one of the weeks, she's out of town for her birthday. So now we kind of have to subtract a week out of the 6 weeks because she wasn't even around him. And yet all of this stuff escalates in just 6 weeks. I just don't buy it. I don't think that they met even June 1st, like Chris says. He contradicted himself even when he talks about the pregnancy video, oh, maybe I was feeling guilty because I was already talking to Nikki. That was filmed in May. Anthony Brown sees them flirty in April. She's Googling the family in 2017. Another time before she even works with him. He's also Googling what it feels like to be in love. A lot of just confusing things going on. And I definitely don't think that we've been given the truth at all. And like I said, either this was longer than the 6 weeks like they're stating, or she just targeted him on purpose for whatever reason. Now, by the end of this whole live stream, I'm feeling like it's both. She targeted him for whatever reason, and this was longer than 6 weeks affair.
Wasn't even around the whole last few days of June up until the 3rd of July. I was gone, and then there was another, last weekend, I had a friend impromptu come in town from out of state and I hosted her for a few days. And it's I still did my own thing all the time. Whether he was there or not, if my friends were hey, we want to make plans, I would tell him, we're not hanging out today because I want to go see my mom or my dad.
Did your friends know about him?
Nope.
Why?
Because it's he's with 2 women right now. They don't need to know about
So
that.
if you had a boyfriend of 4 to 8 weeks on a regular, I don't know if you were married prior or if you had a boyfriend before, but if you had a steady boyfriend, you would have let people know. I think you told me before we got started that you just told your dad about Chris.
No, I wouldn't have told them. I wouldn't have told people. It's too early. I mean, people.
So you don't tell your friends, hey,
no, because people come and go. I mean, dating scene these days is like.
Now she's telling Kopeck she didn't tell her friends. Come to find out, we find out that Brittany knew, because she's the one who said that her parents went through something similar. We find out that Charlotte knew. I find it very hard to believe Jim didn't know. So here, another blatant lie. She's saying, my friends didn't know. No, my dad didn't know. Right. We end up finding out yeah, people knew. And here you are lying to CBI agent.
It sucks. I mean, so no, I wouldn't. I mean, it would have to be something even with Sean. I think I was with Sean for probably 6 or 7 months before I brought him home to my family. I mean, the same with, that was the guy I was in a previous relationship with. But
this one you were a little bit more, you said he's with 2 women. Was that one of your considerations for not telling anybody about it?
Yes. Well, I mean, it was okay, this, to me, it wasn't going to be an extended thing. If it got to the point where we were dating for 3 or 4 months and he's still talking about, oh, I'm going to move out, I'm going to sell the house. I think at that point, I probably would have just been I don't think you're really doing these things you say you're going to do. And I probably would have just left, because at that point, it's not fair. It wasn't fair to me in the first place. It wasn't fair to her in the first place. It wasn't fair to any of us in the first place. It wasn't fair to his family for him to have an affair. It wasn't fair to me to have him lie to me and make me think that everything is going to plan. And still to this day, I don't even know what's a lie and what's not. I don't even know if they were filing for divorce. I don't know if they were putting the house up. I don't even know.
Hi. Hi. Anyways, all right, guys. There was another thing I kind of wanted to play too, but let me just share my screen real quick. I think we've kind of made our point. Now this is part of the documentary, 2 hours and 37 minutes in. It's the interview that guy had that talked to Shanann at the hibachi restaurant. Now, what does that have to do with the affair and the length of the affair? So this took place around March, April, he was a lawyer, said, and she's kind of very interested. Shanann is, in my opinion, it was Shanann. Some people don't think it was Shanann. I think it was. You can listen to that whole interview if you want in the documentary right there at that timestamp. I believe that this could be more circumstantial evidence to kind of show that things had kind of fallen apart between Chris and Shanann before she goes to North Carolina, before she's even pregnant. I think that he was distanced. Their relationship was just kind of becoming more and more distant from each other. And I think that it's possible it's because he had already started his affair with NK. Again, that's my opinion. I think that maybe that's why Shanann was kind of interested in these divorce questions and maybe realized things are falling apart between us. They're not the same. Let me just feel this guy out for some information on divorce in Colorado. Again, she didn't seek the lawyer out. He was just at a hibachi restaurant at the table with her and her friend. And so she just out of curiosity started asking him questions. When the case broke and the lawyer found out that Shanann had passed, he saw her on the news, reached out to CBI and FBI and said, I spoke to this woman months ago and she seemed very interested in divorce at the time, and gave her his information about what they talked about. Again, I think that it could be more circumstantial evidence to kind of show that the marriage between Watts and Shanann was falling apart. And that could also just be because he had already started either an emotional affair with NK or, maybe things had gotten physical already. But that concludes tonight's deep dive. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight. Thank you so much to everyone who donated and to my moderators and everyone who kind of participates with good comments and just deep diving into things. I got a super sticker from Laya. Thank you so much. I'm trying to find it. I'm scrolling up. But I appreciate you very much. And thank you everyone for being here. And so tomorrow night, I want to do a live stream on the Madeline Soto updates as well as Sebastian Rogers. I kind of want to combine them and kind of just do a Friday night live on those topics. If you guys want to join me tomorrow night around the same time, I'd really appreciate it. There are more cases that we can deep dive into besides the Watts case. I know you guys, like myself, obsessed with this case. I do like to discuss other cases though. And I would love for you guys to be there for the other case discussions too. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. So again, thank you all for being here. Johnny, my moderator, I don't know if you're going live, but sometimes after my live streams, we kind of go over to his channel and decompress and just hang out. So join us over there some night. We're there, daily hanging out, but I appreciate all my moderators and everyone's comments. And again, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's very important. It's a free way to help the channel. And I guess we'll do another Watts deep dive next Thursday because it doesn't seem like you guys are letting me let go of this stuff. I thought if I did that poll on my community page, I'm like, oh, maybe people are getting sick of the Watts. No. So I'm going to have to just deep dive into some other aspects of this and pull out some stuff to go through with you guys next week. But I love that you guys like to come here and talk about things. So yeah, I got you interested in the Karen Reed case. Good. I have, for those who don't know that case or want to get into it, I did a live earlier this week. So you can find that on my channel as well. And we did a deep dive, much like this one, where we're just pulling out statements and facts and theorizing and remaining unbiased for that because the trial's coming and we got a lot to go through. So I'll see you guys very soon. So goodbye, guys.